Thursday, May 20th, 2021. We have a revised agenda, and we'll call the meeting to order. Christie, please call the roll.
Trustee Husani?
Here.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Here.
Trustee Porter?
Here.
Trustee Kemper?
Here.
Trustee Bancole?
Here.
Trustee Priegi?
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any changes? Hearing none. Madam Christie, please call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Priegi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Presentation, COVID-19 data.
I'll be handling that tonight, Mayor.
Very good.
Good evening. Just start with an update from our last second date of our vaccination site at the Park District with Jewel Osco. We were able to vaccinate that day 781 people, and that would equate to about only an 8% less than that were completed on the first date. So speaking with Jewel Osco, they were very impressed with the increase in vaccine hesitancy that we've seen across the state. That was a very good number to them, that we were able to have that many people return to complete their full routine of vaccinations. Without any other questions about the vaccination site, I'll move on to the COVID data.
Okay.
So in the since our last report, we now are recording 4,896 cases in the 60133 area code, zip code, and that would equate to 79, an increase of 79 cases from our last report, and unfortunately we do have to report that there's been one more death. Those increases do show a downward trend over the last 2 and 3 week periods though, so that is a good trend that we continue to see.
Very
And
good.
that's the end of my report.
Any questions for Eric? Thank you, Eric. And with that, town hall session. Anyone sign in for town hall?
I do have one.
You have one note?
I do. Alrighty, Lino emailed us in and said, on Bristol Lane and Kingsbury Drive became an even and odd parking street. Why, when it is on an even day, all the cars that don't move get a ticket? Yet when it becomes an odd day, the other cars left on the wrong side do get a ticket. Also, the yellow lines on the street are barely visible. Could they be repainted so it is more visible where the yellow lines start and end? Thank you.
Okay. Chief, did you, were you in receipt of that? Did you see that?
I did not see it.
Okay, maybe we can give that, since you have a paper copy, to our police chief. Okay, Bill President's report. I'm sitting through some NIMS 400 training today, and I think I made it without falling asleep. But I do enjoy that. It takes me back to when I first came on the board and we started NIMS training, and follow all the events, and I was very active with the CERT team and all that. Tomorrow, another full day of NIMS training. I'll be glad to put that behind me and check that box. I know Chief Haig's been waiting for me to get that box checked for a long time. It's all about incident command, and I would encourage the board to review, if you have an opportunity to take any of the incident command courses. What's good about it is understanding what staff, what requirements staff has to go through if there is an incident and there is additional work and we have to go into sequestered room downstairs, and, you know, how everybody supports one another. We get the experts together, and command staff does an excellent job. And one of the things that I'm always encouraged by, we should continue to see, is how you get good at it, how we keep the egos out of it with training, training, training. So I'm remiss in staying up with my training, but I have no ego, so I just don't encumber that, having gone through many of that when I would work for the FAA. I'm really pleased that we're going to do it what we can to continue the History Committee. They've been assembling work for some time, photos and data, but it's time to move past that into publishing and updating our booklet that was last published in 1976. A lot has occurred since there. It was called Camelot to Metropolis, and I think we still have a few copies of that around. We may want to get that processed electronically so that we can go to the next phase, or maybe just have a whole new phase. I've really been tracking legislatively the TIF work that's being done in Springfield. I think they're going to put that on hold for a year so we can have more dialogue. It's be a major impact to municipalities that they take on some of the things they're suggesting. So I think it's Senator Gillespie has the lead with that, and she said she'd be more than happy to work with the councils of government and try to see what the best steps are for that. We do have a couple of TIFs. One we did have extended, and the requirements to have that extended, I had to go meet with every taxing body, and because it touches 2 counties, you can't imagine the taxing bodies. I don't know, there were over 20. So I got all their approvals and support, and so our future downtown is underway and will continue to grow. I've also co-chair on the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus Diversity Forum. We had a really good meeting at the last one, and many communities are really looking how to address diversity. And, you know, in Hanover Park, we created our Diversity and Inclusion Committee back in 2008. I and Trustee Carter at that time, she came up with the terminology, and I think she's in Montana at this time. So I'd love to get her in here and talk about that, but that's not going to happen. But all the communities are in different places, and they're looking to one another, and they're, you know, trying to track their success. I'm pleased to say that we're going to make this a part of our strategic plan and build upon all the things that we've done for the future. And with that, one of that committee's initiative has been with I call it the Martin Luther King
Building.
Service Day,
Yeah.
and that's coming up this Saturday as a part of an initiative with the Habitat for Humanity. So good things this Saturday. I hope I see you all out there. I think that takes care of all my good notes. I handed something off to Trustee Porter. I know he's very involved with CETA. I was able to have him appointed to that. How many years ago? Been a few years.
Yeah, at least 4.
At least 4, yeah. I was asked to be a part of that, and I think I'm on enough committees, believe it or not. So with that, I'd like to move to approve by omnibus vote items on the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 789, move to pass a resolution approving the final plot of subdivisions for GW subdivision. And Bernie, as an item 789, would you like to speak to that?
Right, so one of the requirements for the village board approving the subdivision is that the village have all of the documents in hand, among them the security for the improvements, which in this case is proposed to be a surety bond or two. And the village does have one of them, but does not have the other one in hand. And so, this amendment would give them additional time to bring in the required sureties. And as you can see, there's a motion in front of you concerning this item, and this motion would extend for 15 days, the time in which they would be allowed to come in and file those bonds. As I said, the village has the smaller of the two. We do not have the larger of the two. So,
Okay, so,
has there been a motion and a second made to approve the,
Not yet.
all right, so that would be the very first thing that, if you're going to consider this, you'd have to have a motion to approve that item on the agenda in a second, and then you could have this motion to amend it.
okay, sounds good. Thank you, Bernie. So, did I read it? Yeah. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second.
Question,
We have a question? Yes.
why is there a delay in receiving this, this additional, surety bond? What is the cause for the delay? And why should we allow them an additional 15 days to submit it? Is there anyone here that can speak to that?
There is, the developer is here. If the board wishes to hear from the developer, my understanding is that late this afternoon, we received the bond with signatures, but we received a scanned copy because, that they were overnight, and so we don't have it in hand. Is that correct?
I understand we have a copy, but not the original.
Yes, we have a scanned copy with all of the signatures. We do not have the original yet, which was being overnighted. Some changes were made. We received the bond this week, and a modification was made. And so my understanding from the developer is that they're in different states and trying to get the logistics of getting the signatures in such a short.
Wasn't the deadline, weren't they informed and aware of the deadline prior to this last minute shuffle to get it in? I'm always concerned when at the last minute we get changes and we get requests for additional time or for allowances. When this has been out there since, I guess, our November board meeting when we first brought this up, so it concerns me.
The alternatives were to wait until the June 3rd meeting to put it on, or to have the board approve it in this manner, and so it's on the agenda for the board to make a decision of what you feel more comfortable with. The developer has asked that, and the agenda went out on Tuesday, outside of our normal process.
Yes, I'm opposed to granting this amendment for that reason, and I would be in favor of moving this to the June 3rd meeting when we have everything in hand and not a promise or a scanned document, but we have actual documents in hand.
Okay. Anybody have a motion to,
I'll read the motion. I move to amend the resolution by substituting the following for section 3 and renumbering the old section 3 to section 4.
Read section 3, please.
Section 3, that the subdivider shall provide security in the form of a letter or credit or a security bond in the aggregate amount of $863,030.50, which has not been submitted as required by ordinance, and this resolution and village's authorized representative's signature on the final plat should be made only after submission of the security and its approval by the required village officials, which security shall be submitted and approved within 15 days of passage of this resolution.
And for the sake of our new board members that are sitting here who may not be aware, this is for the establishment of a gun range on the Bartels Avenue property across the street from McDonald's, which to me is a controversial addition to our business community and to our lineup.
I'm looking for a second before we have discussion.
Second. Okay. I thought he had seconded.
No, I didn't hear a second.
Okay.
Was there a second?
Trustee Krieger just seconded.
Bob, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, so it's for the establishment of a gun range right here in Hanover Park. I don't know if you remember the musical, The Music Man, where it said, "We got trouble right here in River City." Well, we got trouble right here in Hanover Park, I believe, if we put up this, if we allow this gun range to go forward. It seems to me that what we're doing is that we're selling out the residents of Hanover Park with the promise of a Starbucks that they will place on that property, which is as unlikely a combination as you could think of. Go and shoot your AR-15 and then get a latte on the way home. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me that we would allow this type of business in Hanover Park, where in the first 18 weeks of this year, there have been 194 shootings in our nation, averaging 10 shootings per week, and over 400 deaths have occurred as a result of gun violence just in 2021 alone in the first 18 weeks, amounting to, if we allow these sales, there are already 393 million by modest estimates firearms in the United States. I'm not coming against the Second Amendment and people's right to own arms and for hunting and self-defense or any other reason that a person wants to own a firearm. I'm just vehemently opposed to placing one of these in Hanover Park. You don't have one in Bartlett. There's not one in Carroll Stream. There's not one in St. Charles. There's not one in Hoffman Estates or Schaumburg. None of our surrounding communities have these businesses, nor do I think that they want these businesses, and if they do, they're welcome to it. But it's not the type of business mix that I think benefits Hanover Park. We got 2 Starbucks, to have a third one and have to have a gun range in order to support it is just me unconscionable that we would make this move. So for that reason, I stand in objection to this amendment as it is written.
Thank you, Trustee.
Trustee Porter, I have a follow-up question on that. So what happens if we don't do it today and do it at June? So it's just we're delaying it because the project itself has been approved, right? So we just want to delay it? That's all the reason that we're going to vote no today?
The project has not been approved. I mean, we still have the authority to turn the project back. I mean,
So-
yes, we've approved it, but according to this ordinance, if the development can be delayed or can be put off because of a failure to submit the signature bond, then it means that the development is not written in stone at this point. We still have the ability to turn this off, to turn this back, and to deny this development at this point.
So we did receive a copy of the bond, but we need to have the,
I understand that.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you would. Okay. Any other comments? Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll.
And this is on the amendment.
This is on the amendment.
Yep. Trustee Kemper.
Yes.
Trustee Bancole.
So this is on the amendment.
Yes.
Whether or not it should go forward, or whether or not it should be delayed until June.
Correct.
So we're voting yes, if we're saying yes.
Can you speak by the microphone? I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I just want to clarify what this is for. So we are stating that we want this delayed until June. We say yes.
So this motion, it's my understanding, would amend the resolution that's in front of you this motion, or this motion with this new section 3 would allow the developer to get his plat approved tonight and would permit the developer to have additional time in which to bring in to the village the completed bond that's required for this project. That is what the purpose of the amendment would do. As the village manager stated, the alternative, I guess, when the agenda was being put together, was to wait until June
Or the next meeting.
3rd, the next meeting, to let them have time to get it here. But I believe that there was a desire by the developer to get this final plat approved currently. And so-
And the recommendation on June 3rd would be the same, that the recommendation is for approval of this development.
Okay,
So this motion delays it, I just want to clarify.
No, no.
No.
This motion moves it forward.
Moves it forward, a no would delay it. Not to June 3rd. No.
okay.
Trustee Brigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
No.
Motion passes, or amendment passes.
Okay,
Now it's the main motion.
the main
The
motion
main
with the,
motion passed the resolution.
with the resolution. Any comments on the main motion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
I do have a comment. I want to thank trustee Porter for going through some of the history of, you know, what's going on with this development. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Can you hear me now? I was saying I wanted to thank trustee Porter for just filling in some of the new members about what's going on with this development, because I wasn't aware that that's what this is for, so thank you for that. But also, have we had, you know, community buy-in when we look at this development? You know, a community survey? Do we know the pulse of the community in regards?
So
I would say
So-
we do.
maybe for the benefit of the new elected officials, Bernie, you could give an outline. It's already been through preliminary plat, or trustee Hussaini, because you were on the development commission at the time. So this is just the final piece. This development has been going on and gone through the development commission, staff review, then the development commission. It's been through preliminary plat approval. And so this is just the final piece of approval for the final approval, as was stated earlier. And that once they receive the final approval of the plat and we record the plat, the developer will then be able to come into inspectional services and apply for a building permit and to perform the work that's on the plat that they've said that they were going to do.
That helps, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
And if we
actually,
deny, and if we deny approval of the plat, what happens to the project? If the approval for the plat of development
Yes,
is
I
denied?
believe that they cannot reapply for a year. Is that true, Shubra? Yes.
So just to amplify a little bit, the applicant came in, the applicant filed an application for a special use and for a planned unit development. The village's zoning ordinance has a special provision in it that if the development is of a certain size or whatever, you have to go through this process, which includes obtaining a special use. That requires a public hearing before the Development Commission. And there was a public hearing before the Development Commission, and the Development Commission made a recommendation to the village board. That special use application then came to the village board, and it came in the form of an ordinance. So the village board had an ordinance in front of them to basically grant the special use with a number of conditions, and there were a lot of conditions. And I believe at the same time, to approve the preliminary plat. and the village board passed that ordinance and approved the special use. I believe approved a zoning change on the property, and approved the preliminary plat for the property. Once that was done, the developer then had the right to go forward and develop a final plat, so long as the final plat met the requirements of the village's ordinances, and also was in substantial compliance with the preliminary plat that the village had already then approved. And they filed this final plat. There's a process for that. The village engineer is responsible for reviewing the final plat. The village engineer is responsible for certifying to the village board that everything is correct in accordance with our ordinances, in accordance with the special use that was given, and so on and so forth. And I presume you've done that. And so that is how it then comes back to the village board, because it goes to the Development Commission again. The Development Commission makes another recommendation to approve the final plat because it conforms to our ordinances and it conforms to the special use that the village board has given to this development. And so that's why it's here today. And in a sense, the approval of plats in particular are not really discretionary with the village board or with the development commission. Plats are sort of a ministerial type approval. You have ordinances, and if the developer meets, or the subdivider meets those ordinances, they're entitled to get the plat approved. They just need to go through the process to have everything examined to see whether or not it is in conformance. And so, apparently, it appears to be in conformance, and that's why it's here tonight. One thing that it didn't have was the bond. That was then the issue. That became an issue today, 2 days ago, last week, Thursday. It got placed on the agenda. Really, maybe it shouldn't have been placed on the agenda, but it was placed on the agenda. And it was placed on the agenda on Tuesday, I believe, because the village manager believed that that bond was going to be here by today. Fair
That's
statement?
correct.
Yeah. But it wasn't. And so I drafted this motion, probably around 4 o'clock this afternoon, for the board. So the board, if they chose to, this they do have discretion about. If they choose to allow them more time to get their bond in, and that issue has already been voted on by the board just voted to allow that extra time for them to bring in their bond. So the issue now is the approval of the final plat with this amendment. And I presume that if you honestly believe that they shouldn't have the additional 15 days, you could vote no on the motion. And if you believe that they should have the additional 15 days because you already voted for this, and if you believe that the final plat is in proper order, then you could vote yes. So that's really what's in front of you. And yes, you could vote any way you want because that's your prerogative. But it's really more of a ministerial function concerning the plat. Concerning the additional time, that's really discretionary.
Thank you. Thank you for just going through this. I do appreciate this. 2 more comments. To clarify, there has been 1 public hearing on this development. Site fair, can you speak to that?
Yes,
There's been 1.
that's right.
Okay. Yeah, this is a big development, so I would just encourage the Economic Development Commission to maybe just do just a bit more intentional outreach, because I like to think of myself as involved in our community, and I'm not the most versed on this matter. So how many others in our community have no clue about this? So,
What was the date of that public hearing? Syed, do you remember?
What was the date?
Yeah. Schubert, do you
Sure,
know
Bravo.
the date?
It was last fall, September-ish, I'll give you the date.
But it was while we were in the midst of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Which,
Well, it was September of this last year.
yeah,
Yeah,
which, which brings in the question, how valid was the public hearing in the midst of COVID on an issue of this vital importance? How relevant was the community involvement in expressing their concerns when this came up? Of course, we did a lot of business and we conducted business as best we could during COVID, but I think that during that time, there was not an ability, or I think there was limited ability for the community to participate virtually in development commission meetings. I don't think that they were broadcast virtually. There was no virtual involvement. So just that fact alone means that did we really get a true assessment of the community's feelings about this project in the midst of COVID, no virtual access?
So, all of those public hearings last year were virtual, but the public had the ability to participate, either on the phone or virtually, sending their comments in.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember there being, at that time, the liaison for the Development Committee. I know that there were Development Commission meetings that I was not able to attend virtually because there wasn't access for virtual.
But the public hearing, I think, is what Director Govind is referring to. The public hearings were required to have a component that the public could.
And I agree to that, yeah,
Yes.
that happened. However, I think in all honesty, we got to admit that all of that was brand new to both us trying to navigate virtual meetings, and certainly to our community to navigate virtual town halls to do that. So I'm just skeptical as to the reach of and that's neither here nor there on what we're voting on today, but just for history for some of the other elected officials that are here. I'm skeptical of the openness and the accessibility under those circumstances for our residents to know that a matter of this critical importance was being discussed at a Development Commission meeting when we were still trying to figure out the technology of how to conduct these type of meetings and do them in an effective manner. I'm sure it was your intent, and I'm not accusing anyone of doing anything of that nature. I'm just saying that at that time.
But Trustee Porter, the word's out there. A lot of people know about this, because I got people asking, when are they gonna start developing it?
Mhm.
I got people asking me at least 3 or 4 times a week, different people. So the word is out there.
And
They
I'm
know
getting
about it,
different
and our
comments.
surrounding communities know about it.
Yeah, and I'm getting different comments from people
So.
in my circle that are really aghast that we're thinking about putting a gun range in Hanover Park.
And trustee Benkeley, just really quickly to the new trustees, if you, and I know it's a little bit too late for this, but I know that we had a very lengthy discussion here on the board about this, and I know that there's recordings on this still out there that people can, access, and I had to go back and listen to it all over again, because this one is a difficult one for me, so I understand, but that's there too, if you ever want to go back and
thank you.
I just don't remember the date of that meeting, but the gun owner was here, the developer, and we had a very, very lengthy discussion on it too.
Anyone else? Knowing the history of this community, I know people approach me additionally asking, they're waiting. This is a quality gun range. I went to Naperville to check that out, and they're, they came here and they spoke to what they accept and what they don't accept. Somebody comes in with some kind of a weapon that is the wrong kind of a weapon, whether it's illegal or what it is. They said first thing they do is they call police department. So they're credible, they have a history of quality, they do training, And so I just wanted to speak to that. Are we ready? Okay. Madam Clerk, Christie, will you call the roll?
Absolutely. Trustee Bancole?
And this, sorry, again, it's
Correct.
no.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
No.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And I appreciate the concerns and the thoughts, Trustee Porter, and he knows that. Moving on, now my computer timed out. Okay, next thing is 6A 10. Move to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 15th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Questions on the ordinance? On the, what is it?
Minutes.
On the, any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A 11, move to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of May 6th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Does the clerk have a scrivener?
Can I interject? Can I interject? Yeah, when I was reading over the minutes,
Oh, go ahead.
What did she say?
sorry. When I was reading over the minutes, I noticed that in my summary, it didn't include, how I talked about the AAPI community, and how we should continue to denounce any types of anti-Asian hate. That whole section of my report was missing from the May 6th minutes.
Let me find that page,
It's,
Page 5.
134.
134. Yes. How do I get there fast?
So it's my understanding that an amendment in our process can be made for you to move for the minutes to be amended. So do you have language that you would like to add to the minutes this evening?
Can I just state it?
Sure.
Okay.
Just,
Let me know when you're ready. Christie? So the AAPI community has experienced an increase in anti-Asian hate crimes, and I believe we should continue to denounce these acts in every way possible. Thank you.
Very good. You have that, Christie?
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
And there was one change. There was a misspelling that we caught. Under presentation, section 4.
This-
E under proclamation, it should be Peace Officers Memorial Day. It should be a C instead of an S.
Very good.
So on the modification or the changing of the minutes from what they're printed, I think you need a motion to amend the minutes.
Okay.
So did you make that motion?
I motion to amend the minutes,
As you stated.
As stated.
as stated.
Okay, and that requires a
Second.
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Discussion?
On
Hearing
the- on
none?
The amendment.
The amendment. Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Absolutely. Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
Okay, now, motion to approve the main motion with the amendment.
You just need to vote.
I just need a vote. Okay, very good. Christie, call the roll?
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Brigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A12, move to approve warrant 520.
7A11.
Oh, no, that was,
That was
it's
7A11.
Okay.
7A12, move to approve warrant 52021 in the amount of $1,093,454.34. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll?
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Brigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A13, move to approve warrant paid in advance, 4/30/2021 through 5/14/2021 in the amount of $762,880.58.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on the warrant? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Brigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. 7A14, move to approve March 2021 P cards in the amount of $9,376.94.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the P cards? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Brigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kemper?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Village managers report. Herb, will you take, I gotta take a quick break. Herb, you got it.
Okay.
This evening, we had, earlier in the week, a couple days ago, the deputy village manager, Webb, he sent to all of you some questions. The board had asked to see questions regarding DEI that would be included in the citizen survey that the board approved to go out to the community prior to our strategic planning process. Those were sent to you. There were, let me see, 5 questions. So the first step would be, does anyone have any thing to add or change or want to discuss regarding those questions? And then we can go through the schedule.
Yes. So how were these questions generated?
Dave, you-
Good evening. For those on the board who weren't here, we went through the Northern Illinois University governmental surveys. They're handling the survey. We have somebody conducting the survey. They reached out and utilized their resources to see what other communities had done and gave us these sample questions, and these were selected to put out. One thing to be noted is, they recommend the full survey being not really more than 50 questions. So you sort of have to decide how many questions you want to have versus not having too many so people will complete the survey. So this was our condensed view of what we felt was going to be appropriate for the survey, and then wanted to give input to the board.
Thank you. And you said NIU?
Northern Illinois University's Center for Governmental Studies.
Okay. Was there a sub-department so it was just that center? Is there a sub-department that focused on these DEI questions?
As part of their group, they have a survey person who's and I think it's in the application, she's a PhD in doing surveys, and so we're relying on what they gave us.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I think the question tonight is, do you have any additional questions or modifications to these questions prior to us moving forward with sending the survey out to the community?
Will this survey be only in English or?
No, it will be in Spanish as well. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
Julian, since you and I spoke, there was a question that came up to me that I wanted to bring in when we were speaking. It kind of slipped my mind, but I just want to know on question on number 31, where it says, how would you rate the efforts of the village government to implement strategies to address diversity, equity, and inclusion? I think that's an excellent question, but what I'm wondering is, how would the average citizen know about our strategies to perform that, to implement, and to address, how would they know about our strategies to address diversity, equity, and inclusion? Have we published those strategies that are available for the community to look at and say, oh yeah, I think, I agree with that, or I don't agree? What is the basis for the question? I think it's a great question. I just don't know what the basis for the question is.
So the answers to the question are excellent, good, or fair. Those were the options. They fell on the next page when I printed it out.
Yeah.
But the community has gone through, you all went through all of the efforts for the Piece Together Our Community. We've heard from the police department. We've heard from HR. Talking about diversity, our approach, some of the things we'd like to do, as the mayor mentioned earlier this evening. The goal is to have a set goal as part of the strategic plan with some action items under it. Other than that would be those members of our community who have listened to those meetings because they were broadcast, for lack of a better word, on Facebook Live, and they've been available through our website. I know that the board has mentioned continuing our efforts to expand and connect with the community about different issues that are going on in the community. I think this citizen survey will get some good feedback back from the community. We haven't done one to this extent since I've been here, actually. We've done a more mini version of a citizen survey. So I would say, those who have had connection with Cultural Inclusion Diversity Committee, those who have attended many of their events, they hold 3 events each year. So those members of the community that have participated in that, I think that they would be able to draw upon their experiences there to answer this question. I will say that there are several opportunities in the survey as a whole that are open-ended questions that individuals will be able to provide their feedback, and I'm looking forward to, I think that based on what they want to share with us, there's opportunities to write out versus just answering excellent, good, or fair.
That's what I wanted to mention. So if I think back to my research days, it'd be best if this section ended with that open-ended question. So you've got 31, excellent, good, or fair, and 30 is more open-ended. So if we can switch those around, and the reason why is because usually folks, statistically speaking, at the end they always want to end with their own words, like this is my final.
So you're saying switch 30 and 31?
Because, and so statistics actually show that when you end with a question like excellent, good, or fair, people feel guilty, and so they'll put, all right, fine, good. So if you switch it, they'll be more honest and tell you, this is how I feel, and on 30, and hopefully they'll say excellent, I think it should be. But if we just switch 30, it's more open-ended, and you end that area. And so statistically speaking, when you do research, that's how you want to end them, open.
Do you have anything to add?
The only thing I'll add is, I'm not sure if it's how you're seeing it or how it was copied, but the answers are excellent, good, fair, poor, and don't know. So going back to Trustee Porter's point, I would think if we had a lot of don't knows, that would be telling that we need to do a better job letting our people know what our diversity, equity, inclusion want. So that answer is available to answer for the resident as well. I just wanted to comment on that.
Very good.
Question, so tonight we would decide whether or not this passes? This moves on?
Yes, it's just for feedback. Yeah, we will move forward. Maybe the next step, we could give you an update on the schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was, we were just voting on whether or not it would move forward.
Yeah, it's
we're
not.
I think
it's
we
not-
are voting to move forward.
There was already a vote to move forward with the strategic planning. At that point, the board asked before we sent out the survey to come back with the DEI-related questions, just to see if you had any changes or anything like that.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing tonight is, other than these few changes, modifications, we're good to go. And so we are going to try to get back on schedule for this project.
So, I'm sorry, but I'd like to clarify. So I don't think we are good to go with this. I read through it, I took some notes, and that's why I was asking how these questions were generated. Because I just think they're too broad. I and members of my household feel welcomed in the village. That's not necessarily, that doesn't necessarily point to DEI. Feel included, feel safe, you know, from who, from what? So it's, these questions are also very leading, which means that they're subjective questions, they're not objective, and I think the whole point of a survey is to get objective feedback. I think that the whole DEI as a whole is about recognizing and honoring shared humanity, and I just think, you know, everything that our community, country has witnessed, 2020, you know, everything that went on in 2020, I think that we owe it to our community to put forth a quality and effective survey, and I just, I don't think we're quite there yet. These questions are so broad. You know, it's on, you know, question 30, on what area of diversity, equity, and inclusion do you think the village government should focus their attention on in the next 3 years? The average community resident will not be able to answer that. The average community resident will leave that blank. Again, I think that the way these questions are worded, they're very leading questions, and they're subjective, and it's, I just don't think we're there yet with these. And so, Deputy Manager Webb, that's why I asked, you know, who exactly wrote these? I mean, this survey doesn't even, you know, in many spaces they talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. Sometimes access is added on, so it's DEIA. This doesn't even talk about those that are, what is the term, differently abled. You know, how accessible is Hanover Park to those that, you know, maybe need some assistance? You know, it doesn't talk about any of that. So how can we move forward when we, you know, don't even address huge chunks of, you know, our community? So I really don't think that this is good to go forward.
Do you think accessibility, ADA, should be a part of this?
Well, it's a part of inclusion. It
That's
is
just
part
what
of
I'm
it.
saying.
And
I don't think
this
so.
survey doesn't address that at all.
So
Okay.
we would be happy to, you know, based on this discussion, go back and add I just asked, and there's not an accessibility question, and we can develop a question that seeks input on accessibility from those who have, you know, their perspective on being able to get around the community or access services along those lines. The board did have a pretty lengthy discussion about the survey. There was discussion about the fact that this is a very broad survey. It's a survey of 50 questions that address everything that we do, just so we have some touch points of the community as we go into, you all go into strategic planning. The more specifics about addressing DEI-related issues and questions is going to fall upon you all to, and staff, to come up with a strategic plan goal that addresses DEI, and then action steps. And one of those action steps could be research this, or go out and do a DEI, so a survey just on DEI-related issues, or gather information from, do training from NLC was one of the discussions. So again, this is just the first overall survey, and it is not intended to be just a survey on DEI.
So,
Lisa?
I understand that, because I saw it as a very small, little part of what we have to do. One of the issues I had last year with the CIDC committee, despite all the wonderful work they did and the hard work they had to do during this time in our history, was that accessibility was never included. And so, is this something that we can put on that committee to say, I know they're working on this ordinance, but if they can work on a broader, looking into training, but also a broader survey that looks at more specifics, that's just focused on that. For some reason, I thought that was part of the strategic plan for the CIDC to do that. I don't know why I thought that, but that's not okay. But if it could be, because this survey would not have enough to cover that, and I see what Trustee Bancole means, but it's just with 50 questions that we can't go into this more.
But my question is, if we've hired someone from NIU, why is the onus on us? No, I think that we should definitely offer input. I think that we should, essentially offer input every step of the way. But if we've hired someone to put together a survey for us, and this is a sample of what is to come, I mean, now I'm thinking about the rest of the survey. I just have a lot of concerns, because it's,
Trustee
I guess
Bancole,
so.
it's in the packet from before, but I'd be happy to send you her credentials. They're pretty extensive. I mean, and
Well-
you could take a look at it, and then if you had some feedback and had questions, we could certainly talk to her about those questions and see what questions we should be asking. I would think that's part of the feedback.
Yeah,
so
and
this doesn't have so much to do with her credentials. It's the quality and the effectiveness of the survey, right? Like, we want to put forth quality work, right? I think we could all agree that. We want to put forth quality work. And right now, this doesn't really meet the needs of our community. And so I just want to make sure that we're not moving forward with this. And
do we have an opportunity for Trustee Bancole to provide some examples or questions that?
Well, I think that was the purpose. I mean, yes, but that was the purpose of sending this out earlier, so that you would all have some time to come up with those questions, talk to the resources that you have, come up with them if there were some questions that I did not hear from any of you over the last few days regarding this. I would say that if right now, Sue has added to your schedules that we are going to be doing strategic planning on September 30th and October 7th. Prior to then, the survey, which is going to take 3 months to get to be sent out, to get the results back, and to be shared with you for that process. We're going to run into a problem if we delay. So if you can get us some questions, the thing is that the whole board is here to hear them, and then we're pushing it 2 weeks to then have everybody hear what that is. And
so when you say get us some questions, what have we hired NIU for?
well, I
I'm
guess
just
what you're
trying to-
saying is you're unhappy with what they've provided us. So what is your alternative question that you would like to ask if you don't like these questions?
I think that it should, as a whole, just be revisited with whoever we have hired to make sure that we are producing a quality survey for our community. That's really, that's it. So this is the first draft. Now let's revisit it with
Oh, this is actually like the fourth or fifth draft, because it's gone through staff and everything. I would be happy to ask her to write one or two accessibility-related questions, because what you're saying is that there isn't one, and I think it's a good point. As far as these other ones, it's hard to go back to her and say, write me a different question. I think I need some more detail about how you would like them to be different, or what they should try to
But isn't that
gain.
why we've hired them, to figure that out?
Right,
I'm
but-
genuinely asking,
So I got
Genuine
a, so,
question.
but as far as accessibility, exactly what is your, because like accessibility, we have the Illinois Accessibility Code, we have the National ADA Code, but the Illinois Accessibility Code is more stringent than the ADA Code. So what is the part of accessibility that you're concerned about?
so I don't feel equipped to talk about accessibility because that's not my area of
Okay.
expertise. However, I noticed that it was missing from this, right? So let's go back, let's revisit this with
Okay,
who
so
we've
what we should
hired.
do is have a question in there regards to
Right.
accessibility concerns.
I don't think
That
that's,
could be a component of it,
Okay.
but
Okay,
again, I just want to make sure, I've said it a couple times, I just want to make sure that we produce a good survey, that's really it.
And I,
As it is written now, it's
Well,
not effective, it
I-
really isn't.
I think though, can I just, one last comment? I think that there were statements throughout this last year, through all of the Piece Together Our Community sessions, the presentations that staff made. There were some statements that said, members of our community don't feel safe. Members of our community don't feel welcome. This survey is going to ask every single resident of this community those questions. And you will get that feedback in a more general sense about whether some of those statements that were made during that time were things that truly are felt in the community and should continue to be addressed as you go into your strategic planning. This is just, the results of this is just information for you to take and build your strategic plan goals off of.
so what I'm seeing is a gap, okay? A gap between what's been presented and Trustee Bancole, your expectations to see something. My thoughts are, maybe you can give staff a couple examples of what that, try to close that gap, so get them on track, so to speak. Because you come in fresh. I like the freshness, I like the thoughtfulness, and we need to close that gap, okay? But we can't just ask them to do it independently. I think maybe a couple examples and
would it help
Because-
if these, yeah,
So
what I was
could
saying was that
I'm
this.
sorry, Trustee Gutierrez,
this-
could I just respond to the
please,
chair?
yeah, please do.
Yeah, so I think it's important to work in a collaborative manner. I'm more than happy to work with other staff,
Yeah.
other trustees to make sure that this is a quality survey. I don't have questions prepared to provide you right now for this
Oh,
survey.
I'm not looking right now.
But I hope that, there is the opportunity to make this a better survey. Sorry.
And you can take,
Go ahead.
you can take a little time. We're not expecting it tonight.
That's just what I was going to say. If we
That's
could suggest that
Lisa?
Jasmine works with you. However, I want to say, though, through my work with Access to Justice, this seems a lot like the survey that a lot of places are using, like Curl at Loyola is using this type of same survey. And one of the questions was instead of making it, leading that way, is that I and my members, my household feel welcomed in the village, asking yes, no, somewhat, those are a little bit harder. So instead of saying, I and my members, my household feel welcome in the village, I think if we were to say, do you and members of your household feel welcome in the village? Yes, no, somewhat.
Or even tell us why you chose that answer,
Well, I think that would be the second part, because then this would get so big. And so that's when I'd see the CIDC or some other, I don't know how, going back and say, hey, this is what they're saying, we need to address this.
So the reason it's in the strongly agree, somewhat that format is the entire survey is in the same format. And what
I
she's
know.
explained is that if you change it up too much from section to section, people don't, they get either confused or they, you know, they've always answered down the first column and now they're.
And I know,
you
my
know,
master's is dual
so,
in research
okay.
and statistics, so I get it. It'll mess up the statistics too when you do them, so I get it. But
Yeah,
I
and-
understand what trustee Bankola is trying to say, that they.
And we're not doing this survey and drafting this survey and doing this survey in-house. We do, staff does a lot in-house. In this instance, based on, you know, everything else that's on the plate, the decision was, because in the past, we've done strategic planning in-house. The Chief Hague led that process. This year, the recommendation was made and the board supported going outside of the organization, hiring NIU's Center for Governmental Study to do the work with their expertise, to do that survey. So I think we're to the point where the board is approved to do that. We can tweak it here and there, but this was supposed to be in the households on April 8th. That's how far behind schedule we are. And so if we don't get closer to on schedule, we're not going to have a strategic plan this year to go through, or we won't have this information. And I just don't think this information is going to be beneficial to the community if you don't have it as part of your data, amongst other things, to have have as part of your strategic plan conversation. So is it something where if there's some additional questions that you have that you could provide to Deputy Village Manager Webb tomorrow or Monday? The intent was to get anything from you today and give her the go tomorrow to continue to work on this project. I just need direction from the board on whether, how you want to proceed, because the intent wasn't to have either all of staff or the board review and rewrite all of the questions.
Okay. Are you
Well,
okay with
thank
a
you
little bit?
thank you for just letting us know that this is now delayed. It's unfortunate that it's delayed, but, you know, you've stressed that it's quite urgent that we get moving on this. So I look forward to, you know, connecting with Deputy Manager Webb just to further discuss this.
So are
Very
you?
good.
How many questions are in the survey?
50?
50?
Okay. So if anybody has.
52.
Wait, just a minute. Excuse me,
52.
just-
52.
There are 52 questions
And how many
right now.
sections is it divided into? I mean, this is sort of the DEI section. How many sections is the survey divided into?
Can you give me 1 second? It looks like 7, so. we'll go look here. 7 sections.
Seven sections that are all encompassing and dealing with every aspect of community involvement.
Correct.
So you got 7 sections, and this is the section that's been appropriated for DEI.
Right, the
Correct.
board requested a section on DEI,
Sure,
and these
yeah.
were the questions.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we have a couple days
What-
to,
My brain is
trustee Porter,
is
please.
going at 40 miles an hour and hasn't really caught up to the speed limit yet, so kind of bear with me. So the DEI question, if it's 50 questions and there's 7 sections, then that's about 7 questions per section, is that?
Yeah, I mean, some of
Roughly,
them might
I
be
know it's
longer.
not, yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
just-
have, there's questions on every department. So, you know, we have, how many departments? We have 7, 8 department. You know, how they perform their work, how the services are provided. So some sections might be longer.
Right, yeah, I mean, that's an average, I mean, it's not. fair
There's
to
a
you
whole
to ask me
section
that.
on demographics, like what's the person who's answering, what's their demographics, they don't have to answer it, but it helps in, you know, it's part of every survey, so there's that section.
Okay, I just wanted an idea of the amount of importance that it was given in relationship to the other sections and the other questions.
Yeah.
How it kind of fared.
I'd say it's equal or,
Okay.
again, yeah, because that was the discussion we had with the board before, that,
Well, I like the dialogue. I think it's good. I think we have a couple additional days to get those questions back to Dave. And I wish staff well in continuing this process. The time frame is important to us. Okay, anything else? Can we move on?
well, I would say, so Sue put September 30th and October 7th on your calendars as the days that we, those were dates that we have received from NIU. The goal is to get this done this year. The current strategic plan was extended for a year. I think it's gonna be, it's quite the process for those of you who haven't been through it here. And so it's gonna take more than those 2 days, but those 2 days are important that everybody be here so that you can all have a voice, and then we take it and meet with different groups and all that. So is there any conflict with those 2 dates? Because it's gonna be hard to find another one. They're Thursdays, so we tried to keep them on Thursdays when you're normally used to meeting.
Hearing none, I think we're good to go.
Okay, and the second item under my agenda is the monthly treasurer's report for April 2021, and Remy would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hearing none,
Okay, so just a note that while the agenda says there's no executive session, we will have an executive session this evening if you all vote to go into closed session. And we will bring that up at the end of the meeting.
okay. Good to know. Village clerk's report?
Oh, yes. Alrighty, so we've been working on the car show that's coming up August 1st, so save the date. We are doing that for HPCRC, so that's all I have to report today.
Thank you. Corporation Council report?
No report, thank you.
Very good. Trustee Husani?
Thank you, Mayor. We did not have a CIDC meeting this month because of lack of attendance. There was some confusion, and it's going to be virtual or it's going to be in person. So I was really looking forward for it at my first meeting, but it didn't happen. But the volunteer was there for the event that's coming up this Saturday, MLK Build Up Day event. So they're expecting around 40 people to help out with the event. The event is about, DuPage, Habitat for Humanity, partnering with Hanover Park, Culture, Inclusion, and Diversity Committee to continue Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy of volunteerism. So the plan here is to impact by painting fences and cleaning up the neighborhood. All the activity will be taking place outdoors following social distancing guidelines, and age 10 plus and above are welcome to participate. So the event starts at this Saturday, May 22nd, 8:30 in the morning. The fence painting is from 8:30 to noon, and the cleanup is from 10 to noon. And if somebody is interested in registering, still you can on Hanover Park website. You can go and sign up, and they're expecting around 40 people out there.
Where are we meeting?
We're meeting at 1211 Catalina Drive, Hanover Park.
Very good. Anything additional?
That's it.
Thank you, trustee. Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes, so I've met with the Economic Development Committee, and there's a lot of new energy in there. And as I mentioned before, I'm really proud of this committee and Schuber's work retaining businesses, and to get 20 plus businesses during COVID, that's pretty amazing. And so as we met with them, we're going to drive Schuber crazy because we have a lot of energy, and so we're looking at retaining right now and bringing jobs and job information to our folks so that we can get our economy running again. And so the group is going to be doing what really the team has always done. We're going to go out there and meet with folks, but we're also going to try to do this live, to meet with folks on social media live so that they get more exposure. And then hopefully start having a site where we can put, even the social media site, where we can put new jobs in Hanover Park or around the area for folks that are looking for work, because that's one of the EDC committee's goals, is to make sure that people are employed in our area as well. So we want to do that. The revitalization grant, we've got folks, we have many wonderful banks in town that can help with that as well, and Schuber's really well connected with folks that can help with that, including our chambers and other programs. Met our township new supervisors and elected officials, and just congratulations to all of them as well. Vaccines, please, please, please get your vaccine. My 12-year-old, I was a scared mom to take my 12-year-old to get his vaccine. I was just so scared. He did fine. He is doing great. So please, and if I can say this in Spanish, si eres latino y no has llevado a tus niños o a tu persona a la vacuna, por favor, déjenos saber, te podemos ayudar a encontrar a dónde ponerte la vacuna. Just if you need help finding a place to get the vaccine, and you can get them anywhere now. So please, 12 and over. So this is so important for our future. And finally, I wanted to also say that I'll be working with the Historic Committee, and like you said, you know, it's not being having out there since 1976. That's the year I was born. So it's still young. So, but we're going to get something out there. We'll figure this out, and I'm excited to work with them because they have been doing a lot of work. And so we have a plan in place when I meet with them and see what they've been doing. And then just one question. Is there, I know we had talked about going over the rules of the board and that sort of stuff. Do we have a date for that, if we're going to meet to talk about rules of the board in general?
So next workshop, next meeting, June 3rd, there's going to be a workshop for the board starting at 5:30, and we will do board orientation. The rules will be part of that.
Okay.
It won't be an extensive, it will touch on it. I think any part of that orientation that the board wants to have more in-depth discussion or training on or discussion, we can always add another meeting after that.
Okay.
We'll be giving you an overview and then go from there.
Everybody
then-
have a copy of that?
We'll be providing that.
And then one final thing, Shubra, we're having someone come in and talk about the importance of social media and getting your social media really out there. What's the date on that? June 8th. And that's going to be on our Facebook page for the village. So if you're a small business, this is one thing you don't want to miss. That's all.
Wow, thank you. Trustee Porter?
Thank you. I want to start off by mentioning,
Is your mic on?
yeah. Oh, I think I only have one for Mike.
The base is there.
I wanted to start off by mentioning, I am on the board of CEDA. How about now?
Oh, better.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate to miss a word you say.
Okay. I sit on the board of CEDA, which is the Community Economic and Development Association for Cook County. And there are a couple things that are going on at CEDA that I wanted to make this body aware of. First and foremost, CEDA is the one of the main administrators of the LIHEAP program for Cook County, and as such, applicants and people who are in need of assistance with their utility bills can apply for that assistance via LIHEAP. There's been a circumstance that has occurred down in our General Assembly. There was $100 million sitting in the LIHEAP account because of the way that the LIHEAP is administered twice a year. So that means that over the summer, when there aren't as many applications because heating bills and those things aren't as high, there's a pool of money that sits in an account for LIHEAP, but which is quickly diminished and diluted once winter season comes and the heating season comes. Well, some of our legislators in the General Assembly decided that, wow, here's this $100 million. We're going to borrow it, and then we will pay it back at a later date. Now, this practice began with Governor Bruce Rauner, and prior to now, it has always been replenished. They borrowed the money and they've replenished it. But now this latest General Assembly has determined that the $100 million, they're not going to replenish it. They're not going to make the fund whole again by replacing those dollars. What that means for our community residents is that that $100 million is about 18% of the LIHEAP budget. And our communities across the Cook County and the northwest suburbs all have residents who rely on LIHEAP assistance to keep the gas on, to keep the electricity on, to keep those vital services running in their homes, which is going to cause a real problem for those people who this has been such a vital service. We're mounting an effort to connect with local municipalities, with leaders, asking them to contact their General Assembly members and let them know that they are strongly opposed to this power grab of $100 million by the General Assembly, and that we are requesting that those funds be reimbursed wholly and fully. Now, I don't have to go any further because we have the same situation on a different level with our LGDF funds, where we're fighting for the full allocation of LGDF funds, and the state also looking to diminish what the municipalities will be receiving. All of these things affect our ability to provide vital services to our residents. And I know that the state has a shortfall, and they're looking at trying to pass a balanced budget, and they've got all of these concerns, but we're the ones who are on the front lines. We meet the residents. They walk into this office, they walk into this building. We see them in the grocery store, we see them at the post office, we see them at the Little League games. We're front and center with our residents. And so when these type of things happen, I think our residents look to us to make a stand and to at least voice our concern for these type of issues, and let our General Assembly members know that we are not okay with them making these type of money grabs and power grabs of funds that are desperately needed by our residents. So, and further, I wanted to inform you, you may have received it in your email about
Before you go on, if I may, is there a bill that's active for LIHEAP?
No, there isn't. It's come and gone. So we've got to have a bill they've actually got to pass a bill to reinstate the fund. Yeah.
Well, we can write that.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the problem. In continuing on with CETA, you may have received in your email information about the 2021 scholarship program, which is now available for post-secondary education at an accredited institution of higher education in the state of Illinois for the 2021 and 2022 academic year. And this is for qualified Cook County residents only. And we always have a situation in Hannibal Park where we're dual counties, DuPage and Cook County, and it's sometimes hard to promote these type of opportunities that are available because we reside in both DuPage and Cook County. But for our Cook County residents, I just wanted to make you aware, the mayor provided me with that, but we just had a board meeting Tuesday where we discussed the scholarship program. And it's an excellent program. It's available to be used at both at the community college level and at the state college level, so the funds can be used at any accredited institution. And the website to apply, you just go to the CETA website, which is cetaorg.net. That's cetaorg.net for anyone who might be interested in applying to that particular scholarship. Finally, I want to say that it's been a year since our senses were assaulted by the killing of George Floyd. displayed on video for 8 minutes and 49 seconds. And this tragedy sparked worldwide outrage and protests, followed by demands that we re-examine systemic racism, implicit biases, police reform, and criminal justice. Communities across America are seeking answers to addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion, as evidenced by our meeting tonight. Initiatives seeking to come to grips with a problem that is interwoven in the fabric of America. Here in Hanover Park, we began the process of reckoning with a series of virtual community meetings of Piece Together Our Community. As a result of this effort, we heard from representatives of county, local, and community individuals and organizations. Our police department stood front and center and listened and responded to voices of concern, and as such are prepared to engage in meaningful, consequential discussions that will seek to make adjustments to our approach to policing as best practices emerge from around the state and country for us to model and emulate. What is important for us to remember is that the social biases that are often behind the instances of law enforcement misconduct also present themselves in every area of our community. While no government body can legislate decency and compassion amongst its residents, we can certainly ensure that the civic services that their taxes fund are doing everything possible to provide fair and equitable distribution of programs and opportunities and is available and known to all. In this quest, we must inspect and analyze our approaches to hiring and staffing in every department. We must apply a racial social equity lens to every facet of the village's business. It is only by being consciously intentional can we live up to the village model of America's global village. Our diversity as a board brings with it a great deal of responsibility. If we are unable to lead the way in the march for diversity, equity, and inclusion, then we have failed those who trusted us with their precious votes to serve in this august body. It is my hope that this board will be up to the challenge that lies before us. And with that, I submit.
It's a year. I can't believe it.
Yep, it's been a year.
Your comments following that event were touching.
Very.
Won't be soon forgotten. Thank you. Trustee Kemper.
Trustee Porter, well put. I sit on the Illinois Plumbing Inspectors Association Board, and yesterday I was updated by the state that IDPH will be revisiting their plumbing code and updating their plumbing code. Things were put on hold for a year, so now they're back on. So things such as lead water services will be discussed. Air chambers, some of you, that's foreign language to some of you folks, but when it came to the VA, what was it in Quincy? The VA, not the hospital, but the assisted living, where there was a lot of Legionella cases, it was determined that it was from air chambers, which is anywhere from 12 to 18-inch piece of pipe that's considered a dead end, but it cushions, it provides an air cushion for your water pipes so you don't get water hammer to keep damage from the pipes. So with that, air arrestor is going to be talked about again. Schaumburg is a test city for the state for hammer arresters. They've been doing that now for almost 2 years. I think they've been successful with that. The state will be just talking about that greatly. It may add to the cost for construction a little bit. The other thing is they're going to reevaluate the water fixture unit counts because of a lot of our fixtures are under what they call water sense, which your kitchen faucets, your tub and shower valves, your lab faucets. They use, and your washing machines use quite a bit less water than what they have in the past. So they're going to go through resizing pipe, which may actually help reduce some of the construction costs. So that's kind of some good news. So, Eric, if we have any, they're gonna, I don't have the dates when they're actually going to be starting this, but there is going to be an open forum for it. So any questions that you or Steve may have to interject, Steve may want to be in on the, I don't know if it's gonna be virtual or live, but, but I believe you can go to IDPH website and the information's available there. Let's see what else. Okay, and that's pretty much that. And to kind of reflect on Trustee Bancoli's comments with the the PI group, another group in the last couple of weeks has been under increased attacks, and that's also the Jewish community. And as a global village, I think we should be verbal on, on all people, not just one group, but one group attacking another group. It's why we adopted the global village, because we don't stand for that type of behavior. So, and with that, that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Bancol?
Thank you. Thank you for your words, and thank you for your words as well. So as some of you may know, a young man by the name of Kevin Nitish tragically passed away as the result of a motorcycle accident that just recently occurred. He was 27. He was a Hanover Park business owner. He owned Royal Clippers Barbershop right here in our community. So I'm just thinking of the Nitish family, really praying that just God watches over them. And I would also like to ask for a moment of silence at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Environmental Committee is meeting next Tuesday, May 25th, but as of right now, we do not have enough members to meet quorum, so I encourage you, if you're interested in our environment, about sustainability, about protecting clean air and water, I would encourage you to just stop by a meeting, because we are actively looking for new members. Earlier this month, I attended the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition's virtual Ramadan Iftar. And some of you might know that Ramadan is the holy month for those that are Muslim and that practice Islam. And one of the pillars of Ramadan is fasting. It's an important component of Ramadan. And so you fast from sunset to sundown. And after the sun goes down, you break that fast with a meal, and that's what's called iftar. So I was honored to be invited to this virtual event to participate. It really was quite moving. Gave us the chance, anyone who participated, to just really reflect on empathy and self-reflection. And I also learned during this event that Illinois has the largest per capita American population in the United States. So Illinois is #1, and I did not know that before this event. So I hope that those in our Muslim community had a safe and joyous Eid. It just passed not too long ago. Next on the agenda, so I wanted to give a special shout out to Sue for the 2021 resurfacing program that was featured in our latest highlighter. I'm bringing this up because, I before this I spent the past few months getting to know our community members and listen to their concerns and really take back feedback on what's important to them. And I would say that a reoccurring topic was, what's going on with my streets? When are they going to be repaired? Where's the funding? How does that process work? So when I saw this, I got excited because This highlighter does a fantastic job of just displaying our village's priorities, what we're, the specific streets that we're focusing on, and it even provides the Public Works Department's contact information if you believe that, you have some concerns about your street. So, wanted to just highlight that because I can't speak for the others, but I get a lot of, a lot of comments about that.
A long time.
Yeah, so just highlighting that. I wanted to thank Mayor Craig for recently sharing with us that the 2021 Illinois Rental Payment Program is now open. I think that's huge because I know so many individuals in Illinois have had their jobs impacted by the pandemic, and I mean, so many people are really just trying to figure out how to keep a roof over their head. So just wanted to highlight that this program is open. If you are found eligible, you can obtain 12 months of rent for past due payments and then 3 months of rental assistance for future payments. So it's a lot. It's a lot of money that would be going to your past due and future rent payments. So the program, excuse me, I should mention that those funds are given directly to your landlord. So if you're a tenant, it would not go to you, it would go to your landlord. So,
Trustee Bangle, right now, it's open to the landlords, so landlords have to apply for the renter that's behind, so it really takes teamwork on their behalf.
right,
And I know at Astor Avenue, they're helping that, and then next month it'll open to renters.
So
Right
it's-
now, landlords.
so it's only to landlords.
Yeah, it's, so if I'm a landlord, I'll do the application and then I'll set my paperwork and then my renter will have their paperwork. But right now it has to be opened by a landlord.
Okay,
And it won't be able to be opened by a renter sadly until next month. So it really takes the landlord working with their renter to be committed to keep them in the home. And I know that Astor Avenue, Hanover Township does a great job at helping out with this as well. So
great, thanks for clarifying.
yeah.
Thanks for clarifying. So yeah, I would just encourage any and everyone that needs this assistance to please take advantage of this really great program. And last but not least, Memorial Day is around the corner. And so I would like to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day. But also, I would encourage everyone to remember those who have courageously given their lives to our country. And that concludes my report.
Can I just add one thing since I'm
Thank
now
you.
the liaison to the Veterans Committee? So the virtual Memorial Day event will be on Monday, the 30th? Oh, I just
31st?
lost
I think it's 31st.
I had it on here and I just took it away. And it will begin at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And I thank you both for those comments. Let's see. Trustee Pree.
A couple of things. The Scouts are going to be having a movie in the park at the ball fields on June 5th. If anybody's interested, it will be free, or anybody interested in scouting, go there and you can get the information. Last weekend, I unfortunately had to, I didn't have to, but I attended a wake for an 18-year-old former scout that somehow got illegal Xanax, which was possibly laced with fentanyl, and died in his sleep. And he would have graduated, today would have been his last day of high school, and he should have graduated on this coming Sunday, and instead they had to have a funeral. So parents, please talk to your kids. There's illicit drugs out there, and we got to make sure that they are aware of the dangers. And there's people that are making the fake Xanax and lacing it with other stuff, and you don't know it. And this was actually the second child in this family to die. His older brother died a few years ago. with his family. And like I said, he was a former scout, he was a Cub Scout before they moved out of town, and then they moved back to town, and we really got to look out for it. So, and then next, on the 26th, we have a JAWA meeting, and we'll be electing the new president of JAWA. So I'll report back to that once the meeting is over. Other than that, everybody have a good Memorial Day. I will not be in town for the first meeting in June, but we'll pick it up at the second meeting, okay?
Okay, so hopefully we have a quorum, because I'm going to be out of town also.
So 2 members of the board will not be there, will everybody else be there on June 3rd for the June 3rd meeting? Okay. Thank you.
I'll be chasing around a mouse.
We'll be without the ends. Okay,
We'll have 2 new ends.
motion to go to executive session for,
So is there just one thing
Just
for
the one,
executive session?
yes.
And is it real
Sale
estate?
sale of real estate.
Okay, so it'd be under section 2C6 of the Open Meetings Act, setting a price for the sale of property owned by the village.
do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second, discussion. Hearing none, Christie, call the roll.
All right, trustee Priggy,
Yes.
trustee Husani,
Yes.
trustee Gutierrez,
Yes.
trustee Porter,
Yes.
trustee Kemper,
Yes.
trustee Bancole.
Yes.
The time is now 8:42, and we will be adjourning to executive session.
You are, we will not be returning following the executive session, I presume.
Are we staying in this room?
Where are we going to do it?
Here.
We're gonna do it right here?
All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
Never let me do it. Fine, I'll try.
Christie, call the roll, please.
Trustee Husani,
I'll let you.
trustee Husani,
Yeah.
trustee Gutierrez,
Yes.
trustee Porter,
Yes.
trustee Kemper,
Yes.
trustee Bancole,
Yes.
trustee Priggy.
Yes.
Motion passed. We're adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned, we'll go right into closed session.
Yes.
Once everybody